I'm going to hand over to Professor Graham Gray to provide some introductory remarks. Thank you.
Welcome everyone, and thank you, Chris, for your comments. And anyone that knows me will know that introductory remarks that are supposed to be 10 minutes are usually about an hour. And I will try to be brief today. Your Excellency, Lord Mayor, Lady Mayoress, and honoured guests, it is a great pleasure to welcome you today to hear our guest of honour, Honourable Foreign Minister, Professor Abdul Momen. Before we hear from the Honourable Minister, I want to say a few words about the relationship between the university and Bangladesh. First though, I think I speak on behalf of everyone when I say that our thoughts and prayers are with those affected by the terrible flooding that has occurred in Sylhet. One cannot infer the causes of individual disasters from general changes to the world's climate. But the terrible scenes, that many of us will have seen on our TVs over the last few days are a stark reminder of how precious our environment is and how important the sustainability agenda is to us all. Many of my colleagues, as well as others here today, have visited Sylhet, our sister city. Many have close personal ties with Sylhet. And apart from sending our deepest sympathies, let me say that we are here to offer what support we can to anyone affected by those awful floods, both here in Portsmouth and around Bangladesh. As many of you know, universities are both global and local institutions. Students come to us from all over the globe. Indeed, in some cases, we go to them. And we aspire for our research to have global impact, improving lives everywhere and anywhere across the planet. But we're also rooted in our place, the city of Portsmouth. We want the people of Portsmouth to be proud of their university, to see our success as their success, and to feel a stake in our ambitions to be the top modern university nationally and one of the top 100 universities globally by 2030. There are many strands to our commitment to our place. As many of you will know, we sponsor our local football club, Pompey. We sponsor a multi-academy trust of primary schools, and a significant investment in our physical estate is very much premised on the desire to create buildings of which the people of Portsmouth can be proud. Our work with our Bangladeshi partners is central to our commitment to our place too. As many of you will know, the Bangladeshi community is the largest BAME group in the city. Like everyone else in Portsmouth, we want them to be proud of their university. We know that the city's Bangladeshi community is very close-knit and maintains strong links with Bangladesh. And we hope that Portsmouth Bangladeshi community will want to spread the word about their university to their family and friends back home. Since 2019, the university has been working closely with our Bangladeshi partners to develop our relationship with Bangladesh. And I want to put on record my thanks for the exceptional support we have received locally from the Portsmouth Bangladesh Business Association. They have worked tirelessly, and for that, I am very grateful. We have also hosted a visit from the esteemed Bangladesh High Commissioner, who has also been incredibly supportive of our partnership. In November 2019, this work culminated in a visit to Bangladesh. Along with businesses, the City Council and other delegates, the university joined a mission to Dhaka, Sylhet and Chattogram. The sister city agreement signed between Portsmouth and Sylhet was a particularly proud moment on that visit. Our visit and all other activities successfully established the university and the city of Portsmouth in the minds of key decision makers, institutions and organisations in Bangladesh, something that we could not have done without the support of the local Bangladeshi community, the City Council and key business organisations. So what do we hope from this partnership? Our partnership is about long-term sustainable collaboration with the local community and with our partners both in the UK and in Bangladesh. Our aims are to attract students who can then return to Bangladesh with the high-level skills that will continue to support its growth in a century when skills will be vital to a country's success. We also hope that our collaboration will facilitate and support research projects and exchanges. There might be 5,000 miles between UK and Bangladesh, but we have only one world connected by shared challenges. There is no better illustration of this than our current work with the Bangladeshi government, with the aim of establishing a Bangabandhu research chair here at the university. We hope that this research chair can support the work of our Centre for Blue Governance and helping to secure the future of the planet's marine and fresh waters. And it's worth stating that the university is enhancing its research reputation all the time. In the recent assessment of UK research, an activity that occurs every 5 to 7 years, our physics was, according to the Times Higher, ranked 6th of all universities in the UK. That is above the University of Oxford, and more importantly for us, above the University of Southampton. Our mathematics research was ranked first among modern universities for research quality, as was our area studies research. Now, I grant you that area studies is a rather obscure phrase, but it does include vital research, and I see Tamsin sitting in front of me here, who does amazing research looking to help end violence against women and girls in South Asia. I'm very pleased to see that Professor Bradley is going to be with us at the Q&A session, which will follow the Honourable Minister's talk. And our research is supported by broader work across the institution. We have the Institute of Cosmology and Gravitation and its mission space work. We have the Centre for Enzyme Innovation and our wider Revolutions Plastic work, which is leading the way in international policy making on sustainability and climate change. Our Centre for Creative and Immersive Extended Reality will support the UK's digital creative industry sector, and we hope that it can develop and support the creative industries in other countries around the world too. But that's enough about the university. We're all here to listen to and learn from, and of course, quite possibly quiz our speaker, Honourable Professor Abdul Momen. So let me say a little bit about him. Professor Momen obtained a BA and MA from the University of Dhaka. He obtained a PhD and MBA from Northeastern University, Boston, and he obtained a Master of Public Administration from Harvard University. A learned man indeed. Professor Momen has been chair of the Department of Economics and Business at Farmington State University, Massachusetts. After his retirement from Farmington State, he joined the American International University of Bangladesh. Outside academia, he has worked as an economic advisor at the Saudi Industrial Development Fund. He's worked for the World Bank and as a United Nations Development Programme consultant. Professor Momen has been the Bangladeshi ambassador and permanent representative to the UN and has been president of Women and Children International, a Boston-based not-for-profit humanitarian organisation. Professor Momen now serves as the honorary president of the Bangabandhu Foundation, a worldwide NGO. He serves as chair of the Bangladeshi Study Trust, and since 2019, he has been Minister of Foreign Affairs from the Bangladeshi government. As I say, an impressive CV indeed. So my final contribution before I hand over to the Honourable Minister is to say some thank yous. I want to thank Kesh Chowdhury, the personal officer of the Honourable Minister, for his help and support in arranging this visit. I want to thank the High Commission and High Commissioner for their ongoing support. I also want to thank colleagues and friends in the Bangladeshi Alumni and Portsmouth Bangladeshi Business Association, as well as the Portsmouth City Council for their hospitality and support for this visit. So now what we will be waiting for, after a very long introduction, let me now hand over to the Honourable Professor Momen for what I'm sure will be a fascinating talk on a subject that I think is really apt for what we see happening around the world right now. It is indeed an honour and a pleasure to have you with us, Honourable Minister.
Evening. Right Honourable Foreign Minister, the Vice Chancellor, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, and Pro-Vice Chancellor. Excellencies, Bangladesh community leaders, and very elected members of the Council. British Bangladeshi diaspora, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum means peace be upon you. Now, I am already aware, this is something very strange. I have so much of these machines. They give you that whatever I say, that will be better. I'm afraid. But I'm also told that today's topic is friendship to all, malice to Islam. And this is irrelevant to Bangladesh foreign policy. And I'm a teacher, I will not be reformed. But luckily I have become the foreign minister. We can say this is an excellent. One of the Greek leaders in the world, his name was Abdul Momen. And when we were asked that what is the cause behind your success, he said, in the pinnacle of my success, Allah has paid more than its fair. And the same is true with my case. Anyway, since I have been asked to say something, I have written some stuff. Foreign policy is a big area. I would dare to say that there is no thread of the fabric of statecraft which is not touched by foreign policy or which does not affect foreign policy. Essentially, this is an idealistic projection of the core ethos of a nation state, or indeed any state or state apparatus. Bismarck had rightly said, foreign policy is the expansion of domestic policy. The main objective of foreign policy is to ensure the protection of national interest and promotion of it, both at home and abroad. Keep this in mind, each country considers the national interest when formulating and determining the foreign policy strategy. Bangladesh foreign policy is also being formulated and being constantly updated, keeping the view of these basic principles and issues. Let me commence by stating with an eye out that peace is and was and shall always remain the central imperative of Bangladesh foreign policy. Ladies and gentlemen, before I talk, maybe I relate some of our history, how Bangladesh was created. In 1970, there was the first election, free and fair election in Pakistan through adult franchise. During that election, my party, the Awami League, won the majority. For example, out of 169 parliamentary seats in East Pakistan, 167 seats was occupied by the party. In addition, there were another 36 members of parliament elected from different other groups. They also supported my party. So actually, 203 members of parliament in a parliament of 300 supported the other. But unfortunately, our League party was mostly supported by the people of East Pakistan, known as Bengalis. There was another party, second largest minority party, that is Pakistan's People's Party, and it got 81 parliamentary seats. And they claimed, with an army junta, that they should govern the country. And therefore, the military junta, in connivance with the minority party, postponed the sitting of the parliament. And without consulting the majority, No wonder that these states, Bangladeshi rank and file, East Pakistan, rank and file, revolted against it, and they demanded independence of Bangladesh. They demanded independence of Bangladesh when the military junta let loose a genocide in their East Pakistan. On the wee hours of 25th March 1971, around, as per varieties of in media reports, on the first night, 25,000 Bengalis were killed, mercilessly, for no fault of theirs. And then around 10 million Bangladeshis, including me, had to go to India, the neighboring country, for safety and security. Around one-third people of those days, there are 75 million Bangladeshis. You know, one-third, half of them were dislodged from that due to the war. And 200,000 our sisters and girls and women had to lose their lives. So we had a very painful situation. 30 million people, 3 million people died during our war with independence. So we have this experience. So naturally, when we formulated our foreign policy, the most basic objective was that we don't want war. We want peace. We want to uphold human rights. We want justice and fairness. So these are the basic goals of our initial demand. And we work for it. After all, Bangladesh as a country was conceived from the highest ideals imaginable by humans. Ideas of freedom, democracy, equality, justice, and inclusivity. Amongst these, the idea of democracy was the driving force, as I said. Be it the language movement of 1952, language movement in 1952, when Pakistan was created, there were two parts in the Pakistan. In between, there was India, separated, two parts were separated by 1,200 miles. And in those days, East Pakistan had the majority of 56% population of Pakistan was from East Pakistan, and the 44% from West Pakistan. But unfortunately, the Pakistani junta, the government in Pakistan, they declared the native language of a small group of 3% people of Pakistan, West Pakistan, there would be the state language of the country. Naturally, Bangladesh did not like it. They opposed their Senate. Their demand was very simple. There are these two state languages of Pakistan. Bengali can be one of the state languages. But Pakistani government ignored. So the people of then Bengal, then East Bengal, they started a movement in which few Bangladeshis shed their blood. Bangladesh is the only country where to preserve and protect their native language, they had to sacrifice. It's the only country in the world. Nowhere people sacrifice their blood to uplift them, preserve their own language. Bangladesh is the only. That's when we have an experience of this sad struggle. Again in 1966, there has been economic disparity, extreme disparity, and therefore in 1966, we demanded fairness. Or for that matter, even the initial struggles of post-1970 elections till March, Bangladesh was roused by the greatest Bengali of all times, our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, for the cause of democracy. Questions of a human identity, free from oppressive classes, clutches of autocracy, disparity and deprivation, and of course, autocratic dispensation from help a Bengali side to ultimately aspire for the land of their own so that they may live with pride and dignity. After independence, international economic aid was needed to rebuild the world on country. And therefore, Bangladesh adopted a foreign policy which is friendship to all, malice to all. When Bangladesh was created, India, our neighbor, they support us all. In addition to India, Friends of India also supported our cause. But only one Western country that supported the cause of Bangladesh, that supported the cause of justice and human rights. It is the United Kingdom. We are thankful to the people of United Kingdom. Even this year, observing the 50th anniversary of our diplomatic relationship with the United Kingdom. And I would look forward to a situation that we work, more closely to uphold democracy, to uphold justice and fairness, and also for our mutual economic development. Here I am in this beautiful port city because I think there are a lot of potential for our trade and investment for between the two countries, our country as well as United Kingdom, because this is a great place, and this university, I am told, is one of the best in the oceanography. In recent years, through dialogue and discussion, we have a large maritime boundary, bigger than my own current London area. And there we have designed on blue economy to make better utilization of the resources in the big maritime boundary. We don't have much expertise, and we started some program with the Netherlands, but we need to reinforce our situation, and there we need more expert opinion and cooperation and partnership. And therefore, I'm looking forward to some relationship with this university. Already few of our the professionals are being trained in this university. So here I am in this city, and I'm looking forward for better things. Now, as I said, the big term of my foreign policy is friendship to all, malice towards it. Till now, this remains the cardinal axis of Bangladesh foreign policy in determining vision and mission of my country. Bangladesh said, and I quote, Bangladesh will be the Switzerland of the East. The instructions he gave for the purpose of formulating foreign policy were: 1. Positive neutrality; 2. Peaceful coexistence; 3. Non-alignment; and 4. Friendly relations to all. The foreign policy adopted by Bangladesh Sheikh Mujibur Rahman in the first decade after independence made a significant contribution to shaping the image of Bangladesh. Article 25 of our Constitution declared and described our foreign policy as, I quote, that states shall base its international relations on the principles of respect for international sovereignty, national sovereignty, and equality, non-interference in the internal affairs of other countries, peaceful settlement of international disputes, and respect for international law and the principles enunciated in the United Nations Charter, unquote. Not unsurprisingly, the peacekeeping is a fundamental feature of Bangladesh foreign policy. As far as maintaining peace is concerned, it is an unwavering policy decision of our country to support the peace process in progress, or at least in contemplation. Bangladesh has achieved the image of Islamic State based on the principle. On that principle, the peace must be achieved, or at least peace must be maintained. The basic premise of our foreign policy is strengthening peace, and if we look into the quotation made by our father of the nation in his book, here I would like to say, and I quote our father of the nation also, he said, peace is imperative for democracy. And he further said that he further said that it is very core of his own political thoughts, and I quote, and immediately after this Bangladesh was created, he was asked by a foreign journalist that what is your greatest weakness? He said, I love my country. He said, what is your greatest weakness? He said, I love them too much. And then he also argued that he asked him, what concerns you most? He said, what, as a human being, what concerns humanity, it concerns me. But anything that relates to Bangladesh, it concerns me more. So that's the way of our, psyche and development. Now here I would say that Bangladesh, our father of the nation, did not secede from Pakistan, nor did he declare war. As I said, when genocide let loose on Bangladesh, only then, on wee hours of 25th March 1970, he said it is time for independence. So he is not the one who initiated this declaration. Geez, under the circumstances, finding no other alternative, he had revolved. And because he's always peace-loving person, and therefore he didn't want to, involve people in any, difficult situation. So this is the mindset of Bangladeshi leadership, and naturally that's in the crux of our foreign policy, the friendship to all, values to all. Let me say another thing. As I was started that during our war of independence, it is India and its friends who supported us. In the Western countries, basically it is the United States. But once we got our independence victory, naturally there was many quarters that argued that Bangladesh should be a part of the Eastern Bloc. On those days, there were two groups. The Western, one led by USA, the other led by USSR. So naturally, the expectation was, because USSR also helped us in our war on independence, the expectation was Bangladesh should be a party to the Eastern. Our father of the nation was a bishop. And you see, he said no. He maintained a non-aligned policy. Both he maintained friendship with the West as well as the East. One of the core reasons was because his main approach was the welfare of the people. And he found that, if it goes one block only, it may be difficult to achieve the welfare, the economic upliftment that he fought for years. He fought most of his adult life for, the upliftment of the Bengali people. He was in jail almost 14 years during his, youth, that mature one. He died pretty early. He was killed in 1975 at the age of 26. He could run the country only for 3.5. But his sacrifice, his blood, his comfort, many years to achieve the goal of upliftment of Bengali nation. And it is also said that he is our current Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, the daughter of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur. Since she was deprived when she was a little kid, he was deprived of the affection of her father because he was mostly in the jail. And then when she became adult, you see that his family, all were killed. 18 members of the family were killed. Luckily, she escaped. She and her younger sister, they came to UK. Her husband was newly married. He got a scholarship at the United Kingdom for doing his PhD. So he was here, and naturally his newlywed wife came here. And when she was coming, this is something new for her, she brought her younger sister. And these two survived. When they were here, then they went to visit, Belgium, and at the time they had killing of his parents, his uncles, his 3 brothers. The youngest, 10 years old brother. This is very sad and pathetic. The person who sacrificed his life for the well-being of the Bangladeshi people, the person who actually, delivered independence of Bangladesh, he was martyred. Not only alone, and terrified. Sheikh Hasina, with God's help, escaped. After she stayed abroad for a few years as an exile, and after a few years, she went back and took the leadership of his father's party. And now, for the fourth time, consecutively third time, she is the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. And her previous great, and she followed her father's principles of, friendship to all, malice to all. And in order to establish, in order to achieve peace, Bangabandhu did one thing. He made friendship even with Pakistan, the enemy. He said, well, let's forget about the past and look forward in the future. And therefore, he developed this friendship with Pakistan. This is, and his daughter is also following the same principles. His daughter has done a lot of action that lead to peace. I will come to that in a minute. Right. What the successor of Mohammad Sheikh Mujibur, our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, has taken the Dingtown peace. During the 66th UN General Assembly in 2011, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina gave the world the 6-point multi development model for championing democracy and people's empowerment. The 6 multipliers of her proposed model include: 1, eradication of poverty and hunger; 2, inequality and gainful employment; reduction of inequality and gainful employment; 3, mitigation of deprivation, that no one should be left behind; 4, inclusion of excluded people; 5, acceleration of human development, including imparting education and technology; and the 6th, elimination of terrorism. In her own words, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been a soldier of peace. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina put forward the peace model, inspired by her own life experience. She said, and I quote, "During my half a century in politics, I have always been a crusader of peace. I believe that peace is achievable with the removal of injustice." She quoted in 2000. According to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, these injustices include repression and absence of rule of law, inequality, economic disparity, deprivation and poverty, suppression of self-determination, denial of secularism and multi-ethnicity, negligence of equal rights for women and the marginalized, as well as the lack of transparency and accountability of governments. The UN General Assembly unanimously upheld the peace-centric development model of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, and it was accepted by the 67th UN General Assembly as its 29th item in 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, any threat to peace is a threat to human beings as a whole. One such threat is that of adverse changes in climate, tackling the climate crisis, not even a small part of which is our making, has been one of the major issues in Bangladesh foreign policy. And this crisis is not only an issue for Bangladesh, but also a global one. The reality is that Bangladesh foreign policy is determined to meet the challenges of the 21st century, and decisions that Bangladesh is taking in global forums are the result of inclusive, far-sighted and pragmatic foreign policy. We want to save this planet, and therefore we are a big voice in the issue of climate change. And as we were the president of the Climate Vulnerable Forum, a forum of 55 nations, during the last Glasgow COP26, the voice that we raised only 4 issues. One is that we must protect and save this planet. There is the only hope. To protect this planet, what we have to do. 1, all countries should come up aggressive indices so that the global temperature remains at 1.5 degrees Celsius. 2, the global leadership that promised to provide $100 billion a year in the Paris Agreement in 2015 they should come forward with real money. 3, that many people are being uprooted from their homes due to river erosion, erratic climatic change, the rise of the sea level, or also additional salinity in the land. In Bangladesh, each year 650,000 people are being uprooted from their homes, and they flock to the cities and towns and create slums. And once they come to the cities and towns, losing their job, traditional jobs, homes, it becomes the responsibility of the government to provide them shelter and jobs. Although government has no contribution in their life. And then we ask that those people who are responsible for the climate, this global warming, they should share the burden of responsibility for their share. And we also raise the issue of loss and damage. The last but the least, the last is that although our country, the CBF country, 55 countries, half of the population, their contribution to global warming is on less than 5%. Yet we are willing to go for renewable energy, but we don't have technology, neither have money. So therefore, we would expect the development partners should come forward with concessionary financing and with technology, so that we can also have renewable energy. This is an area I was talking to your secretary, foreign secretary, and I mentioned that you have good technology. You are changing your vehicles, making electric. Yeah, we have automatics based on diesel fuel. We would like to change it, but we don't have technology. Maybe this is an area where we can work together in cooperation. You will provide us a technology and maybe some concessionary financing, and we would like to go for it, and we'll spend our time. And in the process, we'll have more renewable. Our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina did a very bold decision just before the COP26. We had around 10 coal-based power worth of 600,000 megawatt power. But she canceled all those 10 power plants amounting to $12 billion every day. Only reason is that we want more renewable. Anyway, so this is one issue that we have been promoting. At multiple global forums, including the United Nations, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has mentioned that our future challenge is not to compete against each other. Rather, the big challenge is tackling the changing landscape due to climate change, and we have to work together in cooperation and partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no peace if there is no food on the table. Basic sustenance and responsible economic growth remain at the core policy of our foreign policy. We have established strong working relationships with all major players in the world of international business. We are on the course of becoming the 29th biggest economy in the world by 2030 and the 23rd by 2050. My personal estimates are even higher. We believe that solid economic contributions and engagements allow us to become a safe space for everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, Bangladesh's contribution in the domain of global peace is now brightly visible. We have sheltered more than 1 million Rohingyas, the displaced people of Myanmar, for almost half a decade now, and we did not find a single British shot on the border. In the last 10 years, Bangladesh has achieved great success in developing bilateral trade and strengthening relations, be it in food security, peacekeeping, maritime delimitation, or boundary demarcation with the neighborhood, women empowerment and gender mainstreaming and economic development. Establishment-friendly relationship with each and every country in the world is one of the features of Bangladesh foreign policy. Bangladesh is now becoming a middle-income country from being an LDC to its own initiatives and efforts. The main goal of Bangladesh foreign policy is also economic development. Along with this, one of the objectives of Bangladesh foreign policy is to preserve independence, sovereignty, geographical integrity can evolve. Now, the peace is in the heart. Let me give you a couple of examples. We have some ethnic group in one area known as Chittagong, and there has been some infight between those people. When Sheikh Hasina became Prime Minister, she made an agreement together. Very solid agreement with them. It is her perception of justice and fairness on that basis she made it. Before the agreement was made, almost 25,000, our military force and also the ethnic minority were killed in varieties of violence. But once the agreement is reached, no one is killed. She is a leader of peace. Not only that, currently we are the number one in UN peace, troop contributing. For the last many years, we have been providing, our troops for peacekeeping in the post-conflict. Then we are number one. But that's not enough. This is a temporal phenomenon. We want a sustainable solution to all the global violence and war and terror. In order to achieve that, Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina proposed one resolution known as cultural, COP, cultural. The very essence of cultural peace is that all the violence emanates from a mindset of intolerance. All the violence and words emanate from hatred, from venom, spread of venom, hatred. So if we can reduce the spread of venom of hatred, one group against the other, hopefully violence. Right now, when we are talking, around 80 million people have been uprooted from their homes and loitering in many other countries, taking shelter in other countries. We cannot allow this phenomenon any longer. To end this phenomenon, to reduce violence, to reduce war and terror and tensions, it is time that we adopt culture. What it is? We must inculcate a mindset of tolerance, a mindset of respect towards others, irrespective of religion, ethnicity, color, and background. If we can do it, I have a belief we can look forward to sustainable peace across all nations. And government alone cannot achieve that goal. To achieve that goal, it is the academicians, the scholars, the leaders in synagogue, mosques, mandir, and churches have to come forward. To achieve that goal, it is the parents, the guardians of each individual has to inculcate a mindset among their kids that we all are human beings and, they should respect each other. If we can do that, my feeling is we can achieve a sustainable across the nations. And Bangladesh take leadership in it is because before, this America was discovered in 1492. Before Renaissance happened in the 17th century Europe, it is in Bengal as early as 14th century, 1408, one poet of Bangladesh. And he claimed, he started a campaign, and the campaign was Shobar upore manushotto tahar upore. Humanity is above all. Humanity is above all. And we must preach the concept, the gospel of humanity to have peaceful and to have sustainable. Let me tell you a story of my own. I have a niece. She lives in New York. And she was going to the university. And there is a fashion in USA that when you are in the undergrad, they would like to take one or two courses in Europe. So when she was a junior, she decided to take a course in France and Sorbonne, which is a great institution. So before coming here, she had to go to the medical test. In the medical test, it was revealed that she had blood cancer. So she could not come. And then she had to go through these chemotherapy, chemo, and all this. She lost her hair, young girl, full of life and pregnancy, suddenly for future. She needed bone marrow transplant. But bone marrow bank in USA fought the ethnic community very well. But finally, one young man from Texas, he donated them. We didn't know his identity because as per the hospital rules, they will not give you the identity. But after 3 years, they gave me this program. And when she was going to the keynote, she lost both her kidneys. So she needed a kidney transplant. So she appealed. We tried to get it from everyone. And she appealed finally. The young man, he donated the kidney. That's not the end of the story. So the end of the story is, when she was sick, her parents became very religious. They started going to the mosque every day. He had good business. In fact, he was not interested in business, more interested in his daughter, the beautiful daughter, and became very religious. The young boy who donated bone marrow, he is from India, Gujarat. Gujarat place, and at the time there was a riot. Many Muslims were killed in Gujarat. But this young man, who is a Gujarati Hindu, he provided the bone. And the boy who provided the kidney, his mother works as a, in the chorus, in the church. She works in the church. And the boy also, time to time, helps the mother in the church. Her mother is a devoted Catholic, Christian. The beauty is, now that these three families get one family. Humanity is a humanity is a so we look forward. Our Prime Minister did an excellent job in terms of achieving peace. We have resolved all our maritime boundaries with both neighbors, Myanmar and India, through dialogue and legal process. Not a single bullet was shot. We have resolved our land boundary with India, largest neighbor. We have around 4,200 kilometers of border. We resolve our border demarcation through dialogue and discussion. Not a single bullet. We also, you see this, we resolve our sharing of waters with India through dialogue and discussion. When Bangabandhu created Bangladesh, immediately he signed a 25-year agreement in friendship agreement. And his daughter also signed a 30-year agreement on major rivers, the Ganges, the sharing. So we resolve our issues through dialogue and discussion without resolving. This is something very unique for Bangladesh, because Bangladesh is a Muslim majority country. And if you look around the Muslim majority countries, let's say Iraq, Iran, look at Libya, look at Yemen, what you see, a different scenario. They're fighting each other. But we resolve all our issues with dialogue and discussion because we believe in friendship war, malice force. That's the cardinal principles. So, and it is Bangladesh is the land of religious harmony. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib always promoted that there must not be any discrimination and deprivation among any religious sect, and still we uphold it. The result is our country doing that. And maybe this is a lesson for many other countries who are moving towards more of this ferocapitalism. They should get this lesson from us. The other thing I would like to say that, so far, Bangladesh, we have certain elements of our development process. One is the involvement of women. Being a conservative Muslim country, Sheikh Hasina, there was only 6% women were in the workforce. Now, in the last few years, it has gone up to 40%. Can you believe it? This is something unique. No country has it. The leader of the leader of the government is the lady. The leader of the opposition party is the lady. The speaker of the parliament is the lady. You see, all these big individuals are already, and they are serving us with affection like a mother. So the country is doing well. Now, our country is doing very well because in the last 12, 13 years, our GDP growth rate was around 6.6% on average. 3 years ago, before this, it was 8.15%. Even under COVID, we did pretty well. We have no fatality anymore. And now, even under COVID, our GDP growth is 6.9%, one of the highest in South Asia. It's the highest, and it is one of the highest in the world. Even so, the economy is doing well. It's not only the GDP growth rate and per capita income that is increasing, we also have reduced our poverty. Poverty is a curse, and many of my friends who came from Bangladesh, they can tell you their stories. But there, I salute my Bangladeshi diaspora because they're from zero to, they have become zero to hero. They are very successful, and their future generations are also becoming successful. And we have reduced our extreme poverty from 28% to 10%. And we propose to reduce by around 3% by 2030. If the extreme poverty is below 5%, then the country is known as poverty. We're looking forward to that. But we cannot achieve it all by ourselves. We need partnership. We need collaboration from others. We have to work together. Last year, we observed our 50th anniversary of independence and also 100th anniversary of Father of the Nation. We received all the heads of government, heads of state, all like India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, all of them. They came. The message of Prime Minister was not that I want to develop. Message of Prime Minister was, our Prime Minister's message was that if my development has to be sustainable, then we all have to develop. Unless we all develop together, my development alone cannot be sustainable. And that's the philosophy she is promoting, that we want development of everyone, all our friends, that we can promote. Let me look into something. One of the core objectives of Bangladesh foreign policy is to present a consolidated and development-centric common ambition. Bangladesh has been a successful leader and strong voice for the least developed country in the previous 50 years. Rising above all forms of racism, colonialism, and terrorism, strengthening human identity is the main goal of Bangladesh foreign policy. And with this in mind, Bangladesh is determined to establish friendship with other countries. Our position in international politics is in favor of peace against any kind of atrocity and war. That is why Bangladesh always speaks of arms control and disarmament. We're against arms races, violent conflicts, and extremism of any sort. Our position is unequivocal. Ladies and gentlemen, while the world is changing for better or worse or both, Bangladesh is inching towards its destiny to heaven. The rise of Bangladesh is being realized in an unprecedented manner, and many people in the world today consider Bangladesh as an emerging power. But to me, Bangladesh is the name for courage and conviction. Only recently, on 25th June, today is 20th, on 25th June, we inaugurated one of our longest bridges, 6.15 kilometers long, on a deadly, one of the deadliest rivers known as Padma River, the second deadliest river in the world of Bangladesh. We constructed a bridge. That's not enough. we had to put piling. This is 122 kilometers long. Today, when we are visiting this tower, still it is 120 kilometers. And I was looking at it and trying to see how much is 120 kilometers. We put that much piling because of the ferocious event, but we did it. But there is another story too. And that story is very pathetic. And also, I should say, that shows the conviction of the terrorists. Initially, the road, this bridge was supposed to be constructed with the help of World Bank, Asian Development Bank, JICA, and Islamic Development Bank. But at one point, even before the agreement was complete, there was some noise of conspiracy to, corruption. Not a single penny was moved. No document was signed. But yet, the noise came from our good friends that there is a possibility of corruption, and there the World Bank would draw on this project. Naturally, the others. It was a horror situation. It's also Prime Minister's #1 problem. Suddenly we got it. At the last minute, we got law that there is a conspiracy. Bangladeshi people all across the world, this rank and file, diaspora, everybody started calling us and said, forget it. It was 2.2 billion. They said, forget it. Let's pool our resources together and we'll build with our own money. Then our Prime Minister, for a few days, 4 days, she declared, we will build with our own, with all our own. Of course, we engaged some contractors. The consultant was from UK. We have contractors from USA. We have contractors from South Korea. We have contractors from China. They're the lowest bidders. But we built it with our own resources. That shows that we are a can-do nation. That shows that we can do this. It is time to stop that cycle, that sort of additional condition. And could be a lesson for our countries too. Bangladesh did it even as an LDC. So this is historically a pride of the nation. And it happened because of sincerity, because of commitment. So I believe that if there is sincerity, if your purpose is right, if there is a will, there is. If there is will, there is. Past is history, future is a mystery. Present is a gift of God. Make best use of this gift. And if you can make it, we will win. And here in this Portsmouth city, I'm so pleased that you gave me a chance to speak to you. And I was told about friendship, but I thought I would talk more about our achievement, and I did some of it. We are doing well, but we want others to do. We should work together in collaboration, in partnership for a better future. Thank you all. Join me.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, for that part of the talk. And I'm going to invite three of our to join us up front to answer questions from
Thank you very much. Thank you. The Honourable Minister has given us a lot of very interesting and inspiring things to think about. When I think of the number of topics we've covered, we've got the economy, we've got challenges of global warming, we've got how to balance those things, we've got the whole issue of non-alignment and how we keep up that friendship to all in a world that is full of lots of challenges, lots of division, and seems increasing division. So let me introduce myself. My name is James Ryan. I'm a professor of historical geography here at the University of Portsmouth. I'm head of the School of Area Studies, History, Politics and Literature, and that's part of the Faculty of Humanities and Social Science. What you were saying about humanity being a phrase you, a miracle. I'm going to introduce my fellow panelists, and I hope the audience will also take this opportunity if we've got some time. So I'm hoping that there will be some questions. So whilst you're thinking about that, we're going to have a little discussion, first of all, from the panelists, and then we will widen this out to the floor for questions, and I hope we can extend that dialogue further afield. So I'm joined first on the audience's right is Professor Lena Crane, who is Professor of International Law and Director of the University of Portsmouth's thematic area in democratic citizenship. It's one of the core strengths and thematic areas of the university. Professor Crane's research focuses on the intersections between international trade and investment law, human rights, development studies, jurisprudence, and social theory. And for the last 2 decades, her research has been applied to the global south in India, South Asia, China, as well as East Africa. In particular, she is regularly asked by global organizations to act as an independent expert on international economic law and business and human rights issues. And then at the far end, on the far left, is Professor Tamsin Bradley, and our Vice Chancellor mentioned Tamsin in his opening remarks. Professor Bradley is Professor of International Development Studies in the school that I'm part of. She has undertaken extensive research on how to improve the lives of women and girls, on promoting social inclusion and ending violence and harmful cultural practices. Her work shows the importance of women's financial independence and gender equality to widen women's access to higher education, employment, and politics. And these are a number of things that you mentioned as being very important globally to development. Professor Bradley has collaborated with a number of research networks, non-governmental organizations, and communities in several South Asian countries, including Bangladesh, Nepal, Myanmar, Pakistan, and India. So I'm very delighted to have 2 very distinguished professors with us to think about some of these questions. Perhaps I can exploit my position as chair to ask the first question, and then I'll sit down. That's my privilege, exactly. One of the things that I get to do as head of school is to work with my colleagues to think about our curriculum and what we're teaching us, and also to talk to my colleagues about the important issues that we should be doing research on. And one of our most popular courses is we run a number of masters and courses. We run master's courses in international development and also international relations. So I was wondering what you might think of. You've given us lots of ideas here, lots of inspiration. If there was a single thing that you felt you would really like Bangladesh to feature in our curriculum for international development, what would that be? And I should say, our courses attract students not just from the UK, but internationally as well. So there's a wide range.
Thank you. I had a question in Bangladesh. And semi-large named India, particularly the eastern provinces. And the other day I met the Chief Minister of Assam, and he publicly said their development is very significant. It's because the uncertainty has reduced, the fear of terrorists has reduced. Our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina declared a few years ago that zero tolerance to terrorism. And also she said Bangladesh cannot be hard for terrorists. Since then, the Indian government don't have to spend money for their border protection and security. The 7 provinces in the eastern side of our country, which is all of them. And I asked them why you are doing so. They said there is no fear of invasion. So when your country is doing well, there is ripple effect. And also because of your strategy, our economy. Same is with India. Their economy is doing well. We have resolved between Bangladesh and India. We have resolved all our violent lives. These are neighboring countries, all of them with little skin issues. They will lose the incomes. Given that, we have resolved all our critical issues regarding the solution. And these things is helping the development of both the countries. And I think there should be research in the universities that the power of these countries, what the strategy undertook, and what is the result, and there are evidence. Maybe then others in your researchers does some thorough study. Maybe others will learn as to how to do things, without resort to violence or war. Until today there has been so. This is been in the world. It is not a big guy who was suffering. It is common people like us, the poor people, the women, and children, and have been. And they are also being deprived of education. I, being a teacher, I feel painful that we are losing a generation. But for example, we are currently hosting 1.1 million persecuted people of man. 76% are women and children. And I'm so sad and sick because a large number of young kids losing their lives. They could be contributing members to this global community. Unfortunately, they are not. This is very painful. So some people should do research that these sort of actions have negatively affected the better future.
Thank you very much. I'm sure this question about migration and displacement, which you mentioned, will come up. And I thought it was very striking in the example you gave about migration being the biggest because one of the things I think, as you mentioned, it's very easy on the one hand to say that we all promote peace and friendship, but building the institutions and the structures and the framework to do that is very, very hard. And I think it's not for by no accident that one of the United Nations International Development goals around peace is building strong institutions. That's a key element of that. I wonder if I could widen this out to my colleagues now, because that might be something you'd like to come in. I've got Road in mind.
Thank you so much. Well, that's kind of reflection and question. And my reflection is just hearing you talk very passionately about the importance of migration and how that has really shaped the approach that you want to take to international relations. I was last in Bangladesh a few years ago as a friend of me being able to do recently, and I visited the museum, which is a youth museum, such so sensitively curated. And what struck me was how there were so many stories connected to that period that are really not told. There's so much that still internationally is actually quite almost invisible. And one of the stories that resonated with me because of my work on gender was really around the role that women played in that liberation struggle, particularly in terms of actually being on the front line with men. And it just struck me that that's really important that those stories come through also, because I think undoubtedly there's with principles that you talked about and understand. So that was my reflection. My question is kind of taking you back to climate change. I was really you talked so much to that in what you shared with us, because obviously it's catastrophic for Bangladesh as it is for all of us. And my research recently has been looking at the relationship between floods in Bangladesh and displacement that causes, and then the social impact, particularly in relation to rising levels of stress, poverty, and also violence against women and girls. So really, and I know you spoke a little bit about this, but I'd like to just push you a bit more, if I may, to talk really about what it is that you want the international community to be doing, and what you want to see in their response, specifically in relation to the social impact that you see around you.
Climate change is international. The climate change is an issue with the 7 large ocean populations. We have about 107. That's what the ideal basis is. 25% in the way with global warming. That means about 30 to 40 million. Where Bangladesh is the most densely populated. So why would you naturally do an institutions to go move around other countries and the global before that? Now Bangladesh is an issue that is an issue. Each year we are spending more than $2 billion. We are losing around 2% of GDP. And that's for a variety of reasons. We will be losing around 9%. This is serious. But we've been hoping that our partners, but unfortunately, they're not. So therefore, we are not sitting on it. We have created a perspective national strategy to face the challenge. We believe that we have to lead before. There is no alternative. What we are trying, we are promoting adaptation. At the same time, we are trying to help improve the education process. Our adaptation, homegrown adaptation are very useful. I give an example. In 1970, we had a federal site in which 538,000 people died. More than 5 million people. We have similar federal sites, but the death rate is 100 million. A big change. It's not by accident, because we have created 14,000 scientific. Whenever we get a word, we immediately mobilize our 82,000 young men, boys, girls, all across the country, and that really as volunteers for our business. It's very good. It is not only human beings that try this, also our capital. So our adaptation mechanism, everyone is involvement of youth. In addition, what we need in variety of areas, we have very high capacity. We are trying to do the drilling of our reefs, unfortunately very expensive. And our plan is to do that. We would like to share expertise with our communities. We have set up regional adaptation sector. So while we are arguing in the global war for others to come forward to address it and disease, at the same time, not only in memory of this anniversary of Parliament, we are planting and 70 million trees, 30 million of they have done for anyone, any kid born, they're supposed to plant one plant. Anyone born. So this is more or less a campaign, and they have to take care of it. We propose also to expand our mangrove forest. Currently, Sundarban, our mangrove forest, is a carbon sink. And we have a plan to expand. We want groups plan because it has the largest capacity for carbon sink. And even if planted there, it can keep the carbon 22 years in storage. So we are planning to, have more afforestation in the mangrove forest. So we have taken a variety of climate. Now the international, we have created a fund or home, a climate trust fund to our own money. It's not too much, 450 million more. But on the UK, we have also created another fund for climate. I must say, I must thank UK because they have provided $80 million to that. Not many other countries come forward. We get assurance and advice, but they are not coming with the real money. UK has come up with $80 to the trust fund, and we work with it. But we believe that if we can create a global public awareness, then to save this planet, others will come. I believe in one little thing. When I was observing Robert Kennedy's graveyard in USA, there was a little thing in his planet, and it's written, if you have a just cause, then someone will follow. And if someone will follow, then another will follow. Then another, then another. And when many will join, in that case, the mightiest of the tyranny cannot stand the human play. I believe in it. So we are trying to promote the concept that our parliament has passed a resolution, planetary emergency, and our speaker is asking all the members of the parliament of nations that they should also come forward and dedicate their budget for the issue. So we're working on our own and with our men, with our companies. I must say this year, when we had the COP26, I have good news. Bangladesh ends under the leadership of Bangladesh, the CBN Climate Vulnerable Forum, and the Commonwealth, had an agreement for the partnership with climate change. I thought this is an achievement. Not only that, UK, Glasgow, Dhaka, climate declaration we have. So I think that's little steps. It's a little step, but in the long run, there will be substantial. So I'm hopeful that one day, and given this year, last year was a great year. UK had the leadership of conferences. This is a great news because UK has the mindset and sensitivity to climate issues. And the good news is, under Biden administration, USA has rejoined the climate dialogue. This is the great news. And John Kelly told me that they will keep their word of providing finance. Whether it is public finance or private finance, that's still an issue, but they will provide. So I'm still hopeful that if we have a challenge, but we have to face the challenge and together. One country alone cannot do this. Did I pass? Yes. We will get great. Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure you're right that global public awareness is really important, and it is inspiring to young people as well in the way in which climate change is now on the agenda in so many ways. And I think the other thing that was interesting, certainly in the UK, to look and see how people responded to COVID. Suddenly, things that we were told were not possible to change. Suddenly, overnight, people were doing things differently. I think the whole way in which people are working and travelling is changed hugely. So change is possible in that way. But I think it's also the question of investment, I was thinking, because at some point it becomes just uneconomic to dig coal out of the ground anymore. It's no longer, even if politicians decide that's what they're going to do, it becomes uneconomic to do. But I wanted to bring in later, given this investment, not necessarily to ask about that, but investment law and international law is your field. So did you have a question?
Honourable Minister, first of all, allow me to thank you for your extremely inspiring remarks about the world liberation and obviously what made the fabric of Bangladesh. It was, again, extremely inspiring to hear you talk about the culture and what it is actually in Bangladesh today. And I'd like to so my question relates to the economic crisis in Bangladesh. I see that from my own eyes very recently, last time that I was 2 years ago, distancing. Very impressive change in well, whilst you lifted many people out of poverty, Bangladesh economy is still quite expensive and downturn. So I was wondering, what are the strategies for diversification? That's my first question. Second related question, what's your take about the all sector partnership and the recent World Trade Organization negotiation, in particular on fisheries as what?
The Indian market, and that's not by accident, but conscious decisions. And the second one, can be we are the world's second largest exporter. And that includes our diaspora. Many of you, the Bangladeshi workers abroad, even on the revenue, even on the cost, they send really have for the exchange. They send the money to the country, but it's really the first one, agriculture. In 2009, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, which we would like to have food security, self-sufficiency. And our plan was that if we can provide subsidy, if we can provide the inputs of agriculture, like seeds, fertilizer, water, on time, at a affordable price, then our agriculture is given. At the time, just for example, one bag of fertilizer was 86 tons. She said, I must reduce it to 16 tons. Then when government will go 70 tons of subsidy. She also stopped providing electricity with the city dwellers at night and was diverting that electricity who were in the villages for water system. Now, when she decided that we would provide subsidy, such a big subsidy, our partners like World Bank and I were pretty upset. They said, we cannot do it. She argued that USA, European, French, they do provide subsidy. Why not us? They are good that they don't borrow World Bank. We borrow. Then we provide home loans. But she ignored those. Instead, she provided houses, seeds, and affordable homes with giving. The result was minimal. We used to buy, we used to import more than 3+ billion of worth of food grain. But once she provided inputs, we don't. We are now self-sufficient. We are the third largest rice producer. We are the third largest, fish, freshwater fish, and also the vegetable. We did very similar. But in addition, she engaged in lot of research in the agriculture. As a result, our productivity should have. Our productivity as rice has gone up 4 times. So this is one Indian award. The other one, of course, living in countries. And here, majority workers, 94%, 96% Indian workers. So, we produced sheep what sheep need. She provided electricity to all. We used to have very shortage of electricity. So she made a rule that we must have enough amount and electricity everywhere. Now we have 100% electrical use all over the country. In 38 years, from 1971 to 2000, our total electricity in our productivity was only 3,259. But from 2009 to 2020, it reached to 25,000. We want to make it 40,000. By 2040, we might want to make 60,000. And there is scope for investment. Anyone will invite to invest. The more people will do. This is second year of the living economy. Even during the COVID, these are private sector. The private sector business people were afraid because we sell it to the UK, we sell it to the American, and there was no shops. So many of our standing orders, the $3.2 billion worth of standing orders were cancelled. So it was a very strong value to us. Our Prime Minister, including me, which talked to many of my countries, including Prime Minister Hall, and talked to some of the biggest retailers for HMM, Zara. They don't cancel the standing orders. I must say, they're honored. And honored. She spoke to the Swedish Prime Minister, who is a friend of the ex-Prime Minister, still, and what. She did another thing. Because these women, because they got a job, they're women. She told all the business people, the private sector, successors, that don't come in. Even if you have to pay the minimum wage, 60%, instrument, do. And she said, I will give you stipends. So she provided an minister 500,000 more to all these grants. So none was done. And there was another important. When they're working in the factories are very eco-friendly. If they go home, their living situation is not there. But in the factory workplace, it's more healthy. So they could stay. Not a single government worker. Not a single government. Poor people did not go. It is the rich and wealthy that those government seniors that get covered. This is very interesting. Maybe another research. Somebody should do a research. Why poor people? Why these people didn't get the call? Rich and wealthy law. This could be another research. Now, she kept the vote. Our business people, very innovative. They started making PPEs, glass, head covers, shoe covers, so many things. And that started exporting. So dire need, including USA, country like USA, were very reluctant to import oil. They also got 8 million 50 piece from Bangladesh doing, and we supplied them within 2 months. So our economy, one agriculture, the other is export. And this year, I hope within 2 months, we will reach $50 billion. $50 billion. While we're observing 50th anniversary, hopefully we will have $50 export. Another item is our digitization. In 2009, Sheikh Hasina declared that Bangladesh should be digital. We have problems of governance. But after introducing digital finance, nowadays we do all financial transactions through ourselves digital. During the COVID, we provided financial help to 5 million households. And also we provided essential items to those who are daily wage earners supposed to do lockdown. We sent to the cell phone, everybody has. We sent to the cell phone that you receive that much money collected from this. There was no middleman. The distribution was excellent. There was no corruption. The digitization is also improving our administrative efficiency and effectiveness. So these are some of the issues. And of course, government is businessman, and government is trying to promote skills and also digital. In every school, we have said, buy digital platforms so that our future families, out of a total population, 50% people are below the age of 20. And they're pretty good in the country. And around 74% people are young youth. So we have a large working population. Only we have to create opportunity. If we can do it, our women during the country, women business enterprise. There was a mushroom growth. And these women from their home who cannot go out or neither can go for shopping, they started selling products from the digital. Our export has gone up more than $1 billion, and hope that by 2025 we'll have export from digital around 5 billion. So to lengthy, answer the question. Oh, thank you.
So, as an academic, I could carry on for ages, and it's fascinating, but I know you've got a very tight timetable, so I'm afraid bring discussion to a close. But can I say thank you very much to Professor Bradley and Professor Train for opening up this conversation, but also the Honourable Foreign Minister for introducing such interesting and inspiring comments about.
I'd like to answer you.
Yes.
Mention about the COVID. Will be COVID for experience.
Yes, yes.
We had a high hope that Europeans are very smart. So when the COVID came, my Prime Minister told me that you should talk to the Europeans, because since there is a problem, they will certainly come up with a vaccine. At the time, we have no vaccine. So we, paid some money to European Union and told them that when there will be a vaccine, please, we would like to be number one. First, for use. Then we came to know the Oxford University is about to get this vaccine. We immediately contacted Oxford, then India also. Finally, Oxford was very nice. They sent us a response that we have got your request, and unfortunately, we have decided to give it to India separately. It's because, one, they are a very large company, the demand for the vaccine will be used, and maybe your company can meet that. And then, but we assure you when India would get the vaccine, you would also get the vaccine at the same time. And we did. And we did. So our Prime Minister also made the study of call, the leaders of that COVID vaccine should be a public good. And it should be distributed to everyone without any discrimination. Rich, poor, black, white, doesn't matter. It should be, because if one is affected, remain affected, no one else. No one else. On that principle, we decided. And we made a big call. Now, when the India initially gave us vaccine, we paid for that. But unfortunately, India had a serious problem. So there was a demand by the politician to ban export of oil. So India paid. But India was so nice. They donated donation. There was no donation. They donated around 2.2 million vaccines. But we need a lot. We have 770 million. Then we brought some from China. And then, of course, later on, we got some under the copies. And I must say, the USA, they joined later, but they provided us maximum vaccine, 61 million. We have reached our target population. We have no more COVID as such. But here, this COVID tells us that you cannot face this challenge alone. You have to work with others. There is no alternative. So those are my hats off to those who could really develop that vaccine and share with them. They make money, of course. They did make money, of course. But at least through cooperation and partnership, we could face this. So this is, COVID is a lesson for all of us that in future we'll be having more emergencies we never thought. In that case, the key is we have to. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that idea of partnership and cooperation it runs through the DNA of all universities. That's what we're about through science or humanities or social science. It's all about cooperation. Ideas don't respect borders and boundaries. Thank you so much once again for a fascinating talk, and thank you to my colleagues for opening up some of these important areas. I'm going to hand over now because I know we have more votes of thanks to follow.
So no one wanted to ask for the
Well, I was going to do that, but I think we have. I'm afraid you have your time.
I don't know. My High Commissioner, she's the boss.
Okay, if you, with your permission, if we do have time for a question, I will do that. But yes. Okay, let's take one. We have one question. Quick, straight off the mark. Gentleman here.
What is acknowledged from what did she say to you came to Portsmouth? And what is it?
Could you speak up?
Close.
So I just said, privilege, I'll see you 3 months. I think that's asking the best. Ours very simple. It's just asking customers, to pick the image of Portsmouth and what's their instructions to you about Portsmouth.
We know that I have a really good question. And if you want to talk to this, that's the idea. And of lately, as I said, that we are exporting our main portion of maritime product. We will not maritime. And we have taken a program, we call it Blue Economy, Delta 2100. This is our explore. So we want to explore the resources, the possibilities that we have in our daily ocean. And since this university has expertise, we thought that we should develop a new operation. And secondly, we also need to know that Portsmouth, the state exporting very good. So long we have been exporting our goods to some specific ports. All recently, they started exporting directly to Italy. We are trying to see that whether we can be able to send our goods directly to market. The reason, if I can send them down, it reduces the traffic and also reduce the cost. So we are exploring those, and we will talk to them and see how we can do. In addition, we are also, because we have a large maritime economy, and we have to protect and preserve the farm. There are many fighters who come to our maritime area from time to time. They do illegal fishing, and we cannot stop. There are some fighters. We cannot because we don't have enough, those fast track ships or boats. We, of course, US has gone into some boats, naval boats. But it's not enough diesel for our 720 euros. But now we are going to the ocean. And we believe that we can have, we have discussion with this government, and they are good in manufacturing the ships. We manufacture ships and we sell them. But the military, what they say, armed ships, these ships, or just whatever it is, that protects your boundary. They're very good. That's the way we know. If you have other opinions with that, but we know that in Portsmouth, the British-made product is very quality, and we would like to buy fewer. We are negotiating. Of course, we are not a rich country, so we have to see the price. Not only that, we are trying to buy 6 of the ships that will protect our maritime. Out of the 6, we would like to see that 4 are constructed in the UK, like here in Portsmouth, in Glasgow, and other places. But 2 we like to make arrangement. 2 to be produced in Bangladesh. But to produce those, we have to help improve our facilities. And we are trying to see whether they will be willing and able to help improve the manufacturing facility. So this is our idea. Nothing has crystallized, but we are talking and we are trying to reach. Have I answered your question? Okay, thank you. And another thing, I understand that the large Bangladeshi diaspora, so maybe they can also help improve our trading relationship for a mutual benefit. Yes, just the one last one or what?
I think if
He got the microphone.
okay. This is fine.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. And welcome to also we can see the international delivered government price in Bangladesh. Nearly 75% foreign is coming from the government. So what the action on future sustainable action plan for the government industry of Bangladesh? If the prices have been decreasing slowly, on the other hand, the manufacturing cost and the labor cost has been increasing in Bangladesh. How the factories will manage this pricing and how they will get the market for the future. And this is one question. And second question is, I was going to use that to see from outside of this country, someone send me any parcel, I will get from my home within. But in Bangladesh, if I want to sell something to my country, to get oriented, they are not getting from their growth. They have to use the scale and they have to spend a lot of money. a lot of effort. It takes around 2 to 3 weeks. So I think for the exporting and importing process, like the amount of times that we are losing in the port. So this is another crisis. So what should be the action plan for this? How this will improve? I think you got my point.
Labor manufacturing costs very less. International fire and conference, it's number of processes. Volunteers are under.
Okay, I have really repeated. Yeah, so I understand the first question. The after the wage rate has gone up in the government sector. We like the benefits. But at the same time, you say that the importers, the retailers are not giving fair rates. So how we can work out? Yeah, we are trying to talk to many of the buyers so that they will be more humane and trying to increase the buying purchasing price. But they are still pretty reliant. But at the same time, we have been using varieties of innovation and other mechanisms so that the cost of production can be reduced within certain ranges. By the by, we produce most of the low-end products. So as a result, you see the demand for our products is up. Even during difficult, you will be happy to know after the COVID, our export of garments increased 40%. Can you believe it? So since the export has increased 40%, we are making more money because of our quantities. So the garment owners can also help improve the wage rate of the land, because when they're selling so much, they have a good amount. They should share some of the profit with the garment. So this is good news. The export is booming. And no wonder this is why our total export will be around $50 billion. It was only 11-12 billion when I put 11-12 in our total export was around 11-12 billion in 2008 and now. Even 11, it is around 11 billion. Now it shoot up. You see, 47 plus, and now soon we'll have 50 billion. Can you believe it? Now, the second question I couldn't get, but my colleague, my dynamic High Commissioner, Una can answer. When I need to take the mic. I didn't get the question.
Just one. Because I think the Vice Chancellor goes to that point, so thank you. Thank you, Honourable Minister.
So quick.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Honourable Minister. I'm going to, before we end here, just a few more quite a lot of things. I'm going to invite Her Excellency, Ms. Muna Said Khatib, to say a final few words, because Her Excellency has been very instrumental in supporting the university in our collaboration. So I'd just like to invite her to say a few words at that.
The minutes of my love. First of all, it was such a great honor to have our Honourable Foreign Minister speak here at the University of Portsmouth. I consider that University of Portsmouth is extremely fortunate. Because of all the universities of the United Kingdom, he chose to come to Portsmouth. And the reason is, the very enterprising, the very energetic, the very driven British Bangladeshi young people here in Portsmouth. But beyond business, the gentleman asked the possibility of collaboration with the Oceans Governance Department of University of Portsmouth. University of Portsmouth, particularly Professor Chan, has seen us so many times.
and British Bangladeshi entrepreneur Maps, Bobby Mehta. Who else can I name? The British Bangladesh, the Portsmouth Bangladesh Business Association. All of them have been so patriotic. They've been trying to bring some collaboration and establish a Bangabandhu chair here at the Ocean Governance Department. And our Honourable Foreign Minister already explained, Bay of Bengal is ours. We have already established claim to Bay of Bengal. We've demarcated a maritime boundary with India and Myanmar, you just heard. And now it's time to secure the bay. Now it's time to explore what we have there, which we don't know. This are natural assets and oils and gas and minerals. What's under there? And that is why we thought we should collaborate with this university, and that's why he's here. But I just want to mention that at the University of Portsmouth, we have had collaboration from before at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we look forward to working closely with the university, but also find business. So we want to do more business develop more business between Bangladesh and Portsmouth. Let's see where we end up, but we are very hopeful with shipbuilding. With our Honourable Foreign Minister was taken for a tour of the mine counter vessels and many of the British Royal Navy's frigates and fighter frigates, and we are collaborating with British Navy as well. So let's see, between Portsmouth and Bangladesh, let's develop a partnership and we look forward to that. Thank you very much.